Welcome travellers to the Battling Barrow. Today we're going to be looking at probably the start of a new little mini series, looking at the monsters of Mystara. Mystara has some really interesting monsters, more so than any other setting really, just some really unique monsters, some of which have now found their way into other settings, such as the Turtles, that are now found in Forgotten Realms, but they started off in Mystara, in the Savage Coast. So we're going to have a look at some interesting things. There's been a few monster books released over time, AC9, DM, R2 I think the code is, the Monster Catalog. But the book I've got is from the second edition, and that is the Monstrous Compendium. It's similar, it's got most of the monsters in from the other books. Some are missing though, so I might have to get hold of a print on demand of DM2 or DMR2, whatever it is. And it's got some real interesting sort of beasties in here. I like this book because it's colour pictures, and I'm a sucker for colour pictures. A lot of which I've used already in the game, like the Cheval here, used in Night's Dark Terror, and so forth. But at the moment, at the time of recording this, we are starting Drums on Fire Mountain. And so that has a lot of unique monsters in there, such as, just flip past it, the Fundamentals, which are lesser elementals, probably the weakest, effectively just wings that just whack into you, so that'd be interesting. And so I thought we'd take a look, see what I'm doing in my campaign, how I'm converting them to 5e, because my campaign's 5e, and my campaign is miniature based, so we'll discuss the miniatures as well. So another one from that I'll need to sort out at some point. But today I thought we'd start off with, which is got coming up in my campaign at some point in my game, is the Topi. Topi are these little things here. So they are effectively undead, shrunken undead. So it says here, Topis are tiny undead humanoid creatures similar to zombies. Before these creatures are animated, however, the corpses are shrunk till they're about 2 foot tall. So they're pygmy zombies, which is brilliant. This process gives them dark, wrinkled, leathery skin. Their eyes are wide and bulging. Their lips are usually curled back, freezing their faces into permanent, toothy grimaces. Occasionally, however, their lips are sewn shut. Like zombies, Topis are usually clad in tattered remains of whatever clothing they were wearing when they died. Unlike zombies, Topis do not have a rotting stench, as the shrinking process preserves their skin. They cannot speak, but often hiss, grunt, or gnash their teeth when attacking, which is great. So the combat, they're much more agile than normal zombies. They roll for your initiative in the usual manner, and they can leap up to 6 foot in combat. So that's going to be how we're going to convert them. They have effectively 2 claw attacks, but they do poison you as well. They have a poison ability. So it's here, if they attack you and they wound you, you have to make a Constitution saving throw, is what it's going to be in 5e, or you're going to feel the effects for 1d2 rounds. I'm just going to take the top end and make it 2 rounds, and make it a the victor has a slow poison spell. So this is, I normally make these cards for myself, and this is very much a work in progress. The leap needs to be reworded for myself. And if it moves up to a minimum of 15 foot, it can take an additional, and I'm going to make it 5 foot. It says 6 foot, I'm going to change it to 5 foot from my game. And it can move up or down, so it can jump up in someone. So if someone's over, can leap over a wall if they're in cover and such forth. So effectively, if they're moving 15 foot, they can potentially move 35 foot. Apart from that, it can have the undead fortitude of a zombie, and pretty much the stats of a zombie. No, it's not very charismatic. You can have the claws, you can have the con save, slow spell lasting 2 turns. I'm going to make that 2 attacks. It says claw here plus 3. But here it's 2, so I'm going to make it 2 attacks. So awesome, I've laminated this. I'll probably rewrite this and redo it again. This was very much a work in progress. I shouldn't have laminated. I make cards and laminate them, and the reason why I do laminate them is because if you have multiple monsters with 22 hit points, I can use the back just to keep track of the hit points. So that's why I laminate my cards. It makes DMing and keeping track of things much easier. But that is going to be my... We're gonna have I use morale in my game from Beck Me, even though it's 5 here. I pull morale stats in. And it's gonna be 12. They're not gonna get scared by anything because they're undead. Passive, I made them the same as zombie. Hit points, I've gone for 22 and AC 13. So it's similar to a zombie, except it has a bit more deadly, considering their small has the same sort of charge, but charmed and resistances and immunities and what have you. It has +1 dexterity, and I use that for its initiative as well when I roll. So I roll d20 and add whatever's in here, unless it does have a special initiative rule, which this doesn't. Sometimes I might write it, and even though it's dexterity, it might be 1. It might just act quicker in initiative, so I might have a initiative +4 here. But that's how I use my cards. I'll probably make these available as and when I do them. I might wait till I get them in sets of 4. We'll see. I'll put them up. I'll put the image up on Patreon anyway for this. So yeah, so that is the Topi. So that is. But what models can we use to create this weird and wonderful thing? If you like using models and stuff, because they are small. So I was thinking, looking at pygmies and things like that, and then TT Combat. Those just almost dropped about. Yeah, TT Combat. There's wonderful people at TT Combat do undead halflings, and you'd think I'd go for zombies, but they're too gory, if that makes sense. The ghouls, the undead ghouls are perfect. Now these seem to be inspired by these ghouls here, these old sort of 5th edition Warhammer ghouls from Warhammer, which are great, as these are my favourite models, my favourite looking ghouls of all times. I love these. These are just great as I imagine ghouls to look. The crypt ghouls from later times, not that into. These I love. They just look like something I'd expect to see lurking in a graveyard, feasting on flesh. I think that's sort of loosely inspired by them. So I'll put those to one side and let's see, looking at the pictures. So they come in this sort of clamshell with MDF bases, which is handy, and obviously in this sealed clamshell, and again need scissors, isn't I? Why can't I can do it? Can I? It feels like it. No, I'm going to get scissors. Why make it difficult for yourself? He says still having difficulty. Wow, not have much. There we go. There we go. Alright. So, lovely, nicely packaged. I actually don't know how many I got, but I got loads, so that's cool. So, yeah, they are great. So, do I have one of those? I know he's holding it on the other side, but you sort of see the sort of resemblance. They look like halfling versions of those with bones. So there's one with a skull. I don't have one with a skull. Let's have a look at this one. He's holding a skull. Like he looks like he's doing something that he shouldn't be doing to that skull. People have their tongue sticking out, so these are looking suitably vile, and I do think they're quite similar in style to these, the rocks and the big long claws. So I'm going to paint these up in a leathery skin. Let me go through and sort of have an arrangement of getting them all, seeing how many we've got here. So we've got this one here as well, in these sort of type here, with a bone, and there's 20, which I should have remembered there was 20. These look like they are not 3D printed, because they have sort of a mold release agent, and they got like, you know, vent lines. Or oh no, these I'd say these are 3D printed. Would this be a support? Oh, I don't know actually. No, because then you wouldn't have this flashing in 3D printing, would you? I'm not really an expert in, never really done 3D printing, but you wouldn't have that in 3D printing, or would you? Let me know if you have that. I think these are cast, like, you know, moulded and poured rather than 3D printed. So I'm going to have to tidy them up. I'm going to get one painted so we can have a look at them painted and just see. So glued to their bases, and I think these are going to make perfect Topis. Look at them. Look at them. Oh no, I don't have. Hugo's been put away. We don't have Hugo, so I will use. He's been put away, so I'll use Long John Silver as a size comparison. Yeah, they are perfect. These midget pygmy things I wanted. That is great. Yeah, so I'm going to tidy up, glue them on. I'm going to undercoat them in a sort of, I don't know what it's called, slap chop method, I guess people are calling it. Black, dry brush grey and white. If you watched any of my painting videos before, not that I do a lot of them, you know that's my style. So there, let me come back. I'm going to start slapping some paint on them. And here they are all painted. I went for a sort of snakebite leather for the skin. I thought that would give that sort of dried skin look. That's all sort of contrast paints that I've gone for. But yeah, I think these will make very good Topi models. Look, anything I have at hand, that's a skeleton. So you can see the size difference they do come across. Nice and small. One thing I should note is on the pictures in the artwork, they have like a top knot on. So what I did here was on this one, the camera just doesn't want to focus in on. I left some of the, this is the spur, you know, I forget what it's called, flashing line, whatever. I left some of those on to give me that top knot. So making it work for me. So some have top knots on. And yeah, so I'm really impressed with these. These are going to be my Topis. Yeah, and what we can do now is I can go over and show you my final stat line for them. Now we've done that, and so yeah, we've had a look at the Topis, yeah, what they are in the Mystara. We've had a look at different artworks of them, sort of second edition incarnation, and yeah, what models to use. Let's have a look at my 5e rules. And so this is my final sort of idea for it. It's effectively a zombie. It has same sort of stat lines as it, same sort of movement, but it has a few extra little bits and pieces. So the undead fortitude's the same as in 5e, but it has a leap. So if it moves up at least 15 foot, I want to have a bit of momentum, it can move an extra 5 foot during an attack. Vertically or horizontally. So, you know, if the players have been clever and gone, oh, I'm going to keep out 30 foot range on top of this table, 5 foot table, looking for a nasty little surprise. Or, you know, they're just like, oh, I'm going to keep out 5 foot, you know, 30 foot, so I want to use that. So sometimes I do that, they tactically move away, so I just want a little surprise for them. It's, the rest of it's, as I said, like a zombie, but its attack, it's going to attack twice with its claws. 2 little claws coming in. +3 so on the attack, and it's only going to be 4 damage. Not that bad. 1d6 +1 slashing. But if you hit, you've got to make a DC 5 plus the damage taken. Because my players are, you know, level 10. This is, I want this to be something for them. You know, a bit of a threat. They have to make this Constitution save or be slowed as the slow spell for 2 turns. You know, nothing too deadly. Just more mildly annoying if they fail it. So yeah, that is it. That's my thought for it. I think that is in keeping with the Beckme version of Topi for 5e, and that's what I'll be running in the game. If you want to know how it goes, watch the actual sort of playthroughs of Drums on Fire Mountain. But that'll be it for this video for now, guys. Thank you for watching, your support, and, you know, general just being here on the channel means a lot to me. So if you have enjoyed this, hit the like button, that'd be grand. share it with friends as well, anyone who's interested in running Mystara in 5e. But that's it, yep. Until the next video guys, stay safe, take care, bye 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 bye.